Hello, I'm David Allen, and welcome to The Blogging Dead. I am with my three co-hosts tonight, Trevor Booth, Mackenzie Robinson, or the newbie, and Clark Burns. So ladies and gentlemen, The Walking Dead was crazy last night. It was by far the most suspenseful episode to date, and it ended with Carol leaving. What do you guys think about that?
Lots of excitement for other episodes. That's going to do too.
What do you mean by that? Is she going to meet up with the governor?
They could go many ways with the whole situation. She could come back, she'd be gone for good. She could come back with new friends, one being the governor.
Yeah, I think they could really go anywhere with it at this point. I mean, as somebody who read the comics, it's not even like close to the comics anymore. It doesn't follow it almost at all anymore.
No.
So, you never know what's going to happen.
I think anything could happen, like they said.
So basically you're just a newbie.
Yeah.
So, do you think it was Rick's decision to exile Carol from the group?
I think it was, I don't know if it's the right decision, but...
Do you think it was his decision though?
He does have two... He was once leader, and I think he's working his way back up there, and he does have two children at the prison.
I think he's got a little crazy with power.
What do you mean?
I think he's actually gone crazy.
So like a dictatorship?
Yes, a dictatorship.
I think it was the right decision.
Why?
Because Carol murdered two people.
Do you think it's
But she said they were drowning in their own blood, so they were obviously suffering.
They were, though,
She
in
didn't-
the
she's not a
beginning
doctor.
it showed a girl just in pain and she stabbed her in the head.
She's not a doctor. How do you know that the people...
I'm not saying it was right, I'm not saying it was, like, the right thing to do.
Maybe they would hold on long enough for Daryl to come back and the rest of the group, and they're fine. They get healed.
It's a zombie apocalypse. You're not going to not kill people.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think Carol...
So, killing people that are just sick, you don't know if they're going to die or not, is
Well,
moral.
Well, wait, what do you word it like that?
That's what
Yeah.
she did. That is what she did.
Killing people that are sick and could end up harming the other people. That's
You
not,
don't
that's
know
how
that.
you word
You
it.
don't know that they're going to
We
die.
do know that because the
You do
disease
not
has
know
spread.
that. You do not know that. You do not know if they're going to live or die.
There's already been a death in the disease, so yeah, we know they're gonna die.
Okay, you don't know if they're going to die for sure though.
You don't know how long they're going to hold out. You don't know how long the first one had it before he ended up dying. They could have put him in like the other cells, could have left him there. They kind of put him in quarantine. Like
I think they're
For,
gonna die
for
anyways.
safety of the rest of the group was not the only reason Carol did it. Carol did it because she felt like they were suffering.
They're gonna die either way.
Didn't she say she did it to protect her, the group?
And then at the end of that episode, she said they were drowning in their own blood. They were suffering. I made it quick.
The one girl, she looked normal. She was just in pain. There was no blood coming out of her mouth or her eyes or her ears. Well, can you explain that then?
She went trigger crazy. Or stabby.
Stabby.
Stabby crazy.
But no, I don't think Carol should have done that, and I think Rick made the right decision because Tyrone would have killed her. I mean, the group, sure would have done worse to her. And Rick gave her supplies. Gave her everything she
It
needed.
would have been a
She
much
had a car.
harsher exit for her had she been calling back to
I think
Do
Rick.
you think some people would take her side though?
I think
I
a
think
few, but
some-
not enough.
I
to-
think that would have split the whole group. I think that would have been awful for the group. I think that might have been the end of the group. I think the prison people would have left the prison, then they would become much more weak with less people. I think that could have been the end of The Walking Dead.
I think the group's already going in a direction where they're all gonna go their own ways.
What do you mean?
I think they're like splitting up.
Who?
The group.
Which group?
the prison.
The prison group.
The original.
The original group. They're all going their own ways because I think they all know how to take care of themselves now. And everyone's not agreeing with everyone. And so I think the direction that is going in right now and for their episodes, they're going to split up.
Well, like he said about the comics, in the comics, it ends up everybody dying
So,
and killing themselves. That's how the comic book is. But also, the producers have said they want to do 7 seasons with it, and I can't see 7 seasons with this group. So my prediction for the rest of the thing is Rick survives, maybe Carl and Judith, but they find another group. But the main story sticks with Rick.
So, since Carol killed people that were potentially harmful to the whole group itself, do you think Carl should be considered the same treatment? Because he did kill a Woodbury teenager who was surrendering, putting his gun down and surrendering.
Carl showing signs of not killing, not like that. Like
Carl-
last week's episode, when
he
he didn't
earned
kill the
his-
walker.
He earned his gun back.
Yeah, I think Rick didn't want to believe it, even though Herschel told him, and he didn't want to believe it. And that's all we really know happened. But I think, like he said, he became a farmer, and he didn't take his gun anywhere anymore. And now that Rick is back to old Rick with his gun and his sheriff-style, attacks being things, I think Carl is the same way.
So do you think Carl just gets off of it?
I think.
Do you think there should be a punishment?
Oh, that's
You mean-
it's too far back to discuss that.
He's a kid. I mean, you can't throw a kid
He
out.
doesn't know right from wrong like that yet.
I think Carl thinks he has more power than he actually does.
I think Carl will slow down too. I mean, he's gonna see. I think he sees his dad is changing to become the new leader, but I think Rick's gonna be a different kind of leader than he was before. I think he'll be a better one because he's seeing where being that kind of leader will take him. And I think Carl will see that too, and be a role because when Rick started going trigger happy, so did Carl. About the same time he killed the kid from Woodbury, and then so I think Rick has a role model to this. Carl.
Anything else? Okay, so staying on Carol, we've seen her to where she gets beat up by her husband and not doing anything that would benefit herself. But lately she has stepped up and done things in her own little way. So do you think like she's completely flip-flopped?
She explained that to Rick before she was talking about, because her and Rick had like a heart-to-heart when they were picking fruit and tomatoes and stuff. She said that she didn't know that she was that strong of a woman, so
Yeah,
she's definitely changed.
I think we see that when Carol gives Rick her watch, and that was really the last thing that she had from her previous life with the abuse and like not being able to stand up for herself. And like she said I should have given away a long time ago. I think she's a changed woman now. I think she can do fine on her own. She's gonna find another group, but she's definitely changed from when we first meet her, when she was in an abusive relationship, and now she's killing people that she thinks she has to save the group.
So do you think when last week's episode, when she talked about her daughters being sick, or Lizzie being sick, she referred to her as her daughter. Do you think that was a cover-up, or?
I don't think that was a cover-up. I think that was...
I don't think it was. She didn't realize what she was saying, but then when she called her mom, I think it didn't feel right because Sophia called her mom.
Or do you think it was just like, so she doesn't get emotionally attached?
I think that too. Carol's definitely changed though, because I think now she's a leader. She wants to make decisions with the group.
I think she
Another
could be
group,
a leader.
so
She
she'll be able to
has
lead
a
another group.
newfound confidence.
Yeah.
Thank you, newbie. But, what do you mean by that?
I think that she's finally accepted the past and learned from it, and she's become independent and strong.
And so on to the second group or now we're going to start talking about the second group who went into the city to try and find the animal hospital to get the vaccinations. So, Bob, who was having trouble with a drinking problem, do you think that since he confessed to Daryl and put it all out on the line, do you think he's ever going to get Daryl's trust back or the group's trust back? Do you think he's ever going to get Daryl's or the group's trust back?
I think
I
over
think he
time,
will.
maybe.
He had Daryl's trust back until the end when Daryl found the bottle. So
I mean, everyone's kind of made mistakes on the show.
because well, Daryl. I think that the reason Daryl got so mad was because he had talked with he talked with him earlier about the problem, and he told him that he's fine now and that he doesn't need it as much as he did before. So when Daryl saw that, he felt like he was lied to. So he's mad. But on the other note, I see where you can. Well, I mean, it's the zombie apocalypse. You're gonna have to do something to ease the thoughts and all the stuff that's going on.
Exactly.
So,
But do you think it was the right decision to get the bottle when they're trying to help the group instead?
I mean, I think they had it covered pretty much, and they got everything they needed.
Not at that point they hadn't.
Well,
I
they
think
weren't
he had a moment
guaranteed.
of weakness.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was getting like one of the books that were laying there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I didn't see
I didn't see the
the
bottle.
handle was coming out.
All I saw were books, so I didn't know exactly what was happening. And I kind of started thinking, like, well, he didn't let the bag go. There's something there he really needed.
Well, everyone has kind of done something extremely stupid on the show before, and they've all eventually gained back their reputation.
Mhm.
So, like Carl, shooting the guy, and he's starting to get Rick's trust back.
You're
Alright.
go on. Excuse me 1 second. Hey,